A beautiful sunny day. A beautiful sunny day. Wow. Beautiful sunny day. Beautiful sunny day. Hey, look at that bird. Wow. There's a huge bird. I shouldn't have said that. Where's the dog? There's like a dog down there. And some neighbors that live around here somewhere. Or on this mountain. Yeah, so I don't know. There are people down there. There might be the guy down there. And guess what? It's a beautiful day and everything's okay. And I don't know, but I don't know if everything's okay. Because sometimes it's not, but I feel clean. I feel clean from the sin that I had done. I actually took a shower at the end of all of the stuff of the, not the end, but the beginning of, like what I had to go through for like, it was a bunch of suffering, and not suffering, but like, it wasn't really suffering. It was like doing God's work, a bunch of God's work for God. It wasn't really work on a home. It was God's work for how I had been trying to sell this house. I was a little sinful, and I had screamed out stuff that I said, "I'll kill you, mother," or something in my own home, not to anyone in particular. But it was by myself in my own home, not to anyone. I said that. And then I got a thought of this kid who didn't know what he was doing because he was still a child. And God says you're a man or a woman at age 20 or maybe older sometimes. I don't know exactly, but I think it's when you're 20 from what the Bible says. There are many places in the Bible it says that people didn't go to war until they're 20 years old, then they're a man. And some people who kill people in a war, that's like the Old Testament, that's okay. It may be okay. There may be a time to kill. So this kid, I think he got thrown out of his house. I don't really know what. When he was 18, he killed 3 other kids. And he didn't know where to live, or I don't know what happened. And he killed 3 kids. And it was sad because I knew his mom. I know his mom. And I haven't seen, I noticed her walking around the town like 10 years ago or something or whatever. But and I talked to her in like 2017 or 2018, and it's a miracle I didn't meet up with her. That would have been too much for me to go through, that her son killed 3 other kids. And he's in prison now. So I had to, because I said, "I'll kill you, mother effer," in my own house, not to anyone. I wouldn't actually hurt anyone in real life. I wouldn't actually hurt anyone in, I think I wouldn't, unless I probably wouldn't unless I had to defend myself against, like, I don't want to, but I just wouldn't hurt anyone. I think. So, but I might get angry and yell things like, "I'll kill somebody," and say that or I won't say I'll kill anyone anymore, though. I hope I don't ever say that again, like in my own house, not to anyone, but I hope I don't ever go through that again. But I hope I don't ever hurt anyone. Then there's sin on this earth, and it sucks. It kind of sucks, and it brings things down sometimes. And so I had to, like, with all my heart and thoughts, I had to try to like, I could get the thought of him where he was in prison, and I wasn't supposed to talk to his real mom because I think his dad would have gotten angry or something. And I somehow tried to get him. I asked God and Jesus, and I tried to communicate with him from this far from where he is and wherever he is in jail. I could, like, hear his voice in my, well, I don't want to say I'm crazy, but I tried to get him to find God and Jesus and help him, and I could, like, hear his voice in my house. It was really weird. And it was, like, really weird because I guess maybe I didn't take my medicine or some reason like that, but it was just, and so I had to help him be a good kid. He's like 18 years old, or 20 or 30. Now he's like 20 or 30, but when he killed him, he was 18. When he killed those kids, he was 18. So I said, "I'll kill you, mother effer," and screamed out shit and made all these videos that frightened me. They're on my channel, but I didn't say I'd actually. I'm different from someone who actually killed people in real life. But he was a child when he did it, so he maybe there's a chance he can get into heaven because children are supposed to make it to heaven. God lets them into heaven, I think, if they die. But he actually killed 3 people, and he has to become a better person. That kid. He did that in Bent Mountain to the kids. I don't know why he did that, but that was a worry for me too with my son. Like 10 years ago with those school shooting, not 10 years ago, 5 years ago with those school shootings, and I had to keep going to Texas like 8 times. Well, there was only a few times I had to go to make sure he was okay, and he wouldn't have actually killed anyone in real life anyway, because he cries when animals die, and he won't hurt animals, and he doesn't hurt anyone in real life. He doesn't like to hurt anyone because I don't like to hurt anyone, and so we're probably okay with that. But the words that I said were kind of sinful. In some ways, I may have misled him a little bit, and my kids are okay now. They're really good. They're really good, but I still have an obligation to raise them. But here's the interesting thing for you is that God also raises children. God raises children. I just found that out. Oh shit. God raises children. God raises children, but the kid's not that bad. He can maybe make it to heaven. He's actually good. But I was kind of worried about other people. But I thought about all these people, and I had to like go through this stuff for God, like do God's work, and so God raises children. God raises children. They're his children. And also the mother and father, it's their responsibility to raise their children in the ways of the Lord. In the ways of the Lord. And so God raises children. God raises children. And it's the mother and father's responsibility to raise them in the ways of the Lord too. So I didn't know that. I thought just the mother and father had to raise them in the ways of the Lord. But God also raises them. So it's a miracle. This entire time I was so worried about my children having to go there to their house. And so I did the best I could, commuting 1,000 miles. It was not easy. And by some miracle I made it. I made it to this far. But there's more. There's still children. They're still my children. I still have to raise them. That's that nice snake. That's not a slithering snake as some people. Praise God, praise Jesus. That was a black snake, but it's just a stick. See, it looks like a stick. It's a snake. It's not a snake. It's a stick. But it looks like a black snake. It was just there. It fell from the tree that way, and I took off some of the branches of it. But it looked real before, but it's not a snake. It's a stick. It's a big giant stick. And then I saw this like head of it on the ground, like in the air, just not a real head, but like, say like here, okay, for example, I just randomly looked at this right now. This looks like that's an eye. That's its head. And there's like a lion or dog or cat's mouth, like a beast mouth, but a nice beast, like a cat or a lion or a dog. And that's its mouth, and there's his chin, not it. He's not an it. Animals aren't its, but some people just don't know what they're talking about sometimes because they don't know about God and Jesus enough, and they say an animal's an it or a person's an it. They don't. I don't know, but so, and that looks like his nose. There's his eye. Whoops. Oh no, I'm sorry. And so I noticed things like that in the floor, and it looked like, it could look like, it's so different. If you look at this, it could change into looking like something else. Like now it looks like it has a mask on it that looks like Africa. A mask. a mask on. It looks like the continent of Africa. Like, but then it changed when I said it. It didn't look as much like it. And then it looks like a smiling mouse. Not a mouth. Mouth, not a mouse. No, I don't know. And then sometimes I don't know what I'm talking about. This just looks like a child or an adult who doesn't know how to paint, and how they think that it would look like. It looks like, I can't even show, like a ladybug with 4 legs. Like, they didn't learn how to do art, or and they don't know how to do art, so they think that's how it would look, like a ladybug with 1, 2, 3, 4 legs. But then when I acted like it was a child's drawing, it got angry and it looked like, but now it's happy. It has a smiley face on it. There's the 2 eyes, the nose, and the smiley face, and it looks like a nice child. But then the thing, when I said it didn't look like a really cool art or something like that, it tried to act cool to get really good at it. And it looked like the goatee of the devil, that came to a point, almost like, that's the devil's sign, that pentagram thing, and it's really bad, and you don't want to do that to get better at stuff. It was innocent and childlike, and it was a nice way to it was a nice way of looking at things. But I think I did art so much and did so much of that stuff that I thought, like, I started to be able to see art and things. And so I think anyone can, maybe not anyone can do it. Some people are not supposed to, because maybe that was from, like, that's like that ladybug with this nice smiley face on it. That's how, when he's good, he wasn't supposed to do art. If that was from somebody else, I don't know. So I might be crazy, but I think that's real. I think stuff like that is real. Like, it could have been someone around here, but I have no idea. I don't want to say. And then it made like a fart kind of smell go into my mouth to shut up. And it smells better in here, but it smells like a bathroom at a gas station or somebody's nice house. Like the gas station people who I know, like, with a clean bathroom, but it smelled like a public bathroom. I don't know why. So I'm gonna go upstairs, because somebody else farted in there, and it was like, I made it public. So I better just keep it closed, the door closed, so I can be like, I might have to wash out my mouth after that. I might have to brush my teeth after that last stuff I said. But, in real life, those things are real. It has nothing to do with the people here. It's like, there are ways to communicate with others. There's not just the human English language. And I think you can communicate with someone even if you're... I think you can communicate with someone, no matter who it is, from long distances and stuff, without just talking in the English language. And that's how animals and creatures are. And God created us that way, and God really communicates with us. God communicates with us, and we can't see him right now, and we might be able to hear him, but it's like he uses the other animals and life on earth to communicate with us, I think, or talks to us in any way he's able to, like by the sound of the wind blowing or anything like that. And you don't want to get tricked by the devil, because that's awful, and it just ends in torment, destruction, awful feeling, suffering, everything bad is from the devil. That's garbage. And God and Jesus, but this garbage is clean and good. People's garbage isn't that bad compared to the devil. He's really bad. But this is good. This is godly and Jesus-like and good. I got all clean after going through God's work. I feel like now, this was so beautiful and good that I lived through this, what God just made me go through, that I feel like I feel like I've almost been clean. I'm looking at, it's the word, there's a word for it in the Bible. There's a word for it in the Bible. When I don't know what it is. but if I think about it, I'll know, because I couldn't remember. I was a little, I don't know. But if I think about it, I may have been a little crazy. People are not perfect. Only God is perfect. The human being is flawed. We're flawed. We're sinners. We're all sinners. We make mistakes, you know. Um, but God's not a sinner. God and Jesus do not sin.